I want to leave a thought with you on today. I want you to stand and go to a very simple scripture. There's two of them. It's Mark 11, chapter the 20th through the 24th verse, and then Proverbs 23 and 7.
And in the morning, as they passed by, they saw the fig tree dried up from the roots.
All right.
And Peter, calling to remembrance, said unto him, Master, behold, the fig tree which thou cursest is withered away.
Peter remembered. It's good to remember.
And Jesus answering said unto him, Have faith in God.
Very simple. Have faith in God. Now let's go to Proverbs. What did that say? Proverbs 23, verse number 7.
For as he thinketh in his heart,
as he thinketh
in his heart,
as he thinketh in his heart,
so is he.
God bless you. The thought that I want to leave with you today, faith has no limit. Faith has no limit.
Thank you, Jesus.
Mark, Peter, the morning, if you go back to the 20th verse, as they passed by and saw the fig tree dried up from the roots. And Peter called into remembrance and said unto the master, he remembered what Jesus had said. He remembered. In your opinion, sometimes we think what God can and cannot do. We want to put God in a box. And want him, are you limited to this particular situation? I'm here to tell you that God is limitless. He can do whatever he needs to do for your situation.
Come on.
If you believe that he won't, then he won't. You follow me? Your thinking is very important. In Proverbs, so as a man thinketh. If you get it in your heart, then it's going to come out. If you think you broke, or start saying that you broke is coming. Now, if you're sick, start thinking that you're healed. You follow me? That we want to put God in a situation to where he can heal a headache. He can heal cancer. But one of the things that really scared me the past 2 years, when the pandemic came up, a lot of Christians start losing their faith. I can't get no amens here. Because they start looking at the circumstances of what was going on around them. But God does not change. He's the same yesterday. He's the same yesterday, today, and forevermore. Remember, God can change your situation. Start confessing it with your mouth. Start saying it with your mouth. Start thinking it the way, start thinking your situation that I'm coming out. All right, here we go. Now, limit. Limit is something that is bound, that's restrained, that's confined. But limitless don't have no boundaries. And God do not have no boundaries. He can work out your situation just for you. And remember, whatever you're going through, God already have it worked out. If you're fighting with the devil, get in your mind that the fight is already fixed. Realize that you're in a fixed fight. What are you talking about? You know, some of these boxing masters that they had, they was fixed. He might have got knocked down, but he got up and knowing that he's going to win. When you're battling with the enemy, realize that the fight is fixed. Tell somebody the fight is fixed. Because the Lord already told me that I'm a winner. You have to tell that devil I'm coming back. Because the Lord told me that the fight is already fixed. And I'm coming out. How you coming out? I'm coming out with my hands up. Because I know I'm coming out. You know, sometimes the devil get us in a corner. He get in there and you have to say to that devil, you might hit me, but I want to let you know that the fight is fixed. Take that home with you today and say, regardless of what I'm going through, the fight is already fixed. And what are you saying? I'm a winner. Start saying that what? I'm a what? Now look here. So as a man thinketh, when you think, a lot of things can happen when you think. Men does not attract what they want, but of what they are. A man is literally what he thinks. If you think you're successful, you'll be successful. Then you start surrounding yourself around successful people. If you think it, you can dream it. I was talking to Sister Jackie this morning, and she was sharing about the inventions that the Lord has given her. And she said sometimes she's on a job and the Lord give her an idea. She gets the pen and write it down. Why? The Lord give us things, but we don't write them down. The Lord give us vision, but we don't write them down. Write it down. Because the enemy going to come and try to steal it from you. Then she said when she get home, she sometimes go and take the paper and say, oh yes, this is what the Lord given me. Sometime in the middle of the night, the Lord give you things. Give you a word. Get up and write it down. Y'all don't hear what I'm saying. Write that down. Sometimes you're driving. Sometimes you're somewhere. The Lord drops something in your spirit for you and for your family and for the surrounding. Write it down. Don't forget to write it down. So as a man think it. I'm going to think my way out. I'm in this situation, but I'm going to do what? Think. So as a man do what? All right, let's look at what we're going back to Mark 11 and 22. Jesus said, very simple. Have faith in God. What had happened is that Jesus spoke to the fig tree. It's important when you are walking the faith walk. Speak. When you speak it, believe it. So many times I spoke it. And when you speak it, it activates it right then. When you speak it, it activates it. Do not be so afraid to speak. If you need healing in your body, speak it. Simple. Lay your hands on that problem, on that condition that you have, and speak it by faith. I am healed. And go by the word of God. And he said, by my stripes, you're already what? And take the word as it says, I'm already healed. You speak to that condition. You speak to them ankles that are weak. You speak to that heart condition. You speak to that cancer. Yes, a cancer is just like a headache to God. You take time and speak to that situation. You need a car, speak to it. You need a home, speak to it. You need a job, speak to it. You got problems with that son, speak. You know, prayer changes what? Prayer is communicating with the Father, but prayer does what? All right, let's hear. Faith has no limitation. You hear what I said? Faith has no limitations. Take the limit off. You used to hear saints saying, I'm taking the limit off of God. You don't hear that too much now. I'm taking the limits off. Do you know what limits? When you're driving your car through the school zone, there's a limit. When you get on 59, it's around about 60. Some of y'all speed anyway. But they have it there for a particular reason. Now, you get on the toll road in outside of Austin. I think it's 183. It's a toll road there that you can drive 80 and get on with it. The limit is raised up. But guess what? If you go to Germany and get on on a certain road there, it's no limit. If your foot can handle it, drive as much as you want. Isn't that something that God is no limit? God take you at your pace. I love that. He take you at your pace. That if you want to go 40, he'll roll with you. If your limit is 2,000, he'll roll with you. But now if it's 2 million, he'll roll with you. I'm under the belief that God supplies my needs when I need it. I was sharing with somebody the other day. They said, oh, I sure need $1 million. I said, you don't need $1 million today. If you just go into the grocery store, you don't need $1 million. You follow me? But when I need 50,000, long as he have the 50,000. If I need 200,000, I'm not ashamed enough to ask him for 200,000. Now that's where my faith is at. You follow me? And I'm knowing that if I need it, he's going to bring it right there. You understand what I'm saying? But now, if I'm going to Chick-fil-A, I only need $12. As long as he supplies my needs. Y'all follow what I'm saying? Now, if I need healing in my body, I need him to supply that need. Give me healing. You have to understand, it's getting into the Ashton business. How many of you are in the Ashton business? How many of you are really in the Ashton business? Do not be ashamed to ask God for anything. I love that. I love that he is letting me know that our eyes have not seen. Ears have not heard what he has in store for me. You know, that's a pretty good hookup. Huh? Can you imagine the queen passed, and she passed all that money to the grandson? Y'all remember that? Y'all heard about that? Gave him all that money. But guess what? I got a better hookup than that. The Lord that we serving, he on a cattle of 1,000 hills. And he's saying, I am limitless for you. God will take care of you. Look at somebody and say, God will take care of you. Guess now. Another thing I wanted to say is that faith is not just limited to us. Let me break it down. It's not just for the Americans. It's for any nationality, any person. Whether you're in China, whether you are in Africa, whether you're in Canada, whether you're in Mexico, faith is for everybody. You understand what I'm saying? It's not just for us. God is for everybody. Y'all don't hear what I'm saying? Now, look at what he says here. It's not just for those over the seas, but it's over there. It's for us as well. Now, are there limits that we can put on God? Is there limits? If we rely on our own power, you cannot rely on your own power. Ephesians 3:20. Ephesians 3:20.
Now unto him.
Now unto him.
That is able.
Okay, hold it. Now unto him. that is able. First of all, talking about unto God that is able. Everybody not able. Hello? Sometimes a woman get confused because the gentleman is wearing nice suits. But when they get married, he's not able to do. You follow me? But it said, God said that unto him that to do exceedingly, he said exceedingly, abundantly. Now, he is saying that he can do more above all that we can do what? He can do, go back to that next verse, go back. He can do above, abundantly, more than we can do what?
Or think.
Ask. Think about it. He gonna do more than what you can ask. So he gonna say, okay, sister, what you want? I want this. I want to travel. I want my husband back. What else you want? Isn't it something that you have someone that you can go to and ask for what you want? Sometimes a man can't do that. You take him shopping and say, just get what you want. Then they looking at every price, every what they call it, the sticker on the dress, the sticker on this. They say, you done told me to get what I want, but I didn't know you was going to do that. You say, get all what you want. But he say, God is saying, after you get through doing all that you want, he's still saying, I got some more. Look here. He said, now ask. Right? Then he said, hold it. Look what he said. All you can ask. But now, you through asking what all you want? Now he's going to say, what you're thinking. He said, you through asking? Now, what are you thinking about? Oh, I want a Bentley. I was thinking about a Bentley. I just got to ask him, but you said, what you thinking about? Oh, I'm thinking about a Bentley. So what's them other kind of cars? Range Rover? Maserati? I was just thinking about that. He said, you thinking about that? I can handle that too. What mighty God we serve. That what kind of man is this that we serving? He said, not on what you're asking, I just want to know what you're thinking. Isn't that something? What are you thinking? Then he said this. What does it say? Unto him according to the power
that worketh in us.
See, God has some power. If you need healing, he can do it. If you need salvation, he said he don't run out. He had, like one of them brothers, I'll see the brother, I don't see him in here. He got one of those black cards, American Express. Everybody don't have one of them. They might have changed the color, but I remember years ago was a brother that was working with us. He said, if you have the black card, you can go charge whatever you want. Am I right, you American Express people? Some of you shaking your head. You don't want folk to know that you got it. But you can go get whatever you want and pay it off in 30 days. You see what I'm talking about? See, that's limitless. They give you unlimited credit line as long as you pay it off in 30 days. So the Lord is saying that with me, it's limitless. You can ask for whatever you want because I got it. I like that because what? All right, here we go here. Now, he also, and I was thinking about this, the Lord gives us keys. At the church here, I went and asked the church here, some of us has keys, right? But it's a couple of them got the master key. I've tested it. Some doors I go with my key, it won't open. I'm limited. You follow me? But now, when you have the master key, you can go to all the doors. The Lord give us keys. You follow me? And when you have the keys, you can go through any door. So he gives the saints keys. And all you have to do is unlock your blessings. You understand what I'm talking about? In San Antonio, I have a key that can go unlock all the doors. One key. You understand what I'm talking about? One key. It's called a master key. That is, some of them is cut with the same, that it look like the same key, but it's not. You follow me? A master key, you can get in all of the doors. We're going to find that here for you here shortly and talk about the keys. All right, Isaiah 55:8. Isaiah 55:8, what it says.
For my thoughts are not your thoughts.
Okay, he said, my thoughts are not your thoughts, all right?
Neither are your ways
my
ways.
All right.
For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways.
All right.
And my thoughts than your thoughts.
Now, let's go to Philippians 4:19.
But my God shall supply all your needs.
What kind of, he said he's going to do what? Supply all
your needs.
Hold it. And I love that he did not say needs. He not just didn't say needs. He said all. All is very important there. But my God shall supply all. Y'all have some needs? All your needs.
Amen.
Now look how he said he's gonna handle it. According to
his riches.
Oh, hold it. According to his riches.
Yes.
According to his riches.
His riches.
And good thing about it, he can handle my needs, then he can handle yours too.
Amen. Yes,
Then he can say, oh, bro, White, you got some needs? I'm going to handle your needs too.
my God.
He's saying, back there in the back, yeah, you got some needs. We have an endless God that can handle all of our needs. And he said, how you going to handle it? Hey, how is he going to handle it? According to his riches.
Amen. Glory to God.
He don't have to have a meeting with the leaders because he's on the verge of default. He don't have to raise his debt limit because he said, I've been handling the needs of New Day. I've been handling the needs of this person here, and we jammed up. We at a debt limit. The Lord don't say that. Because he's saying, I'm going to handle you according to my riches. And I don't run out. And it's very simple. He's saying, I do not run out. All I want you to do is just keep asking. Isn't that good? Get up in the morning and say, I'm going to talk to my Father today. I'm going to talk to him. And while I'm communicating with him, I just let him know what I want. In that's just as simple as it could be. You do not have to have, let me let you know, you do not have to have a PhD to talk to the Father. You do not have to have graduated from Harvard, all of these cum laude and all of that to talk to the Father. Get on your knees and just talk to him and tell him what you want. He understands. See, he understands you. He knows you better than you know yourself. He know what you've been going through. He know what you've been battling. Isn't that something? He know what you've been battling, what you've been going through, what you've been faced with. And now we are faced, the people are faced with a whole lot. But guess what? He still knows you. He know you behind on your bills. He know you having problems on your job. He know that families are having all of this. But guess what? All you got to do is give it to him. All he wants you to say is give it. Quit struggling with all that. Give it to him. The biggest thing that we suffer with is not willing to give that situation to God. We try to handle it ourselves. We try to deal with it ourselves. We try to move that big piece of furniture by yourself. And got that son in the house sitting down, and you out there trying to wrestle with all this heavy stuff out of your car. You done been to H-E-B, got all them groceries, and you trying to struggle in, huffing, puffing, coming in the house, and that son is there sitting on the couch. No! Tell him to get up. And give that load to them. And you stand back and let them carry the load. And the Lord is saying, you do not have to struggle with what you're struggling with. Give it to me. Stop struggling with what you're struggling with and say, Lord, I'm giving that situation to you. Lord, I'm tired of dealing with these kids at the house. They're not doing that. I'm giving it to you. He said, give it to me, and I'll make your load. Now, when you give it to him, do not go back and try to get it. Because he wants to help you. He wants to bring you through. Now, here we go. I knew I had it. Matthew 16 and 19. I will give unto you these keys of the kingdom. So I got the keys, right? So when I get the keys, that gives me some authority, right? He didn't say one key, he said keys of the kingdom of heaven. Now, I don't give everybody the keys to my business. You might work there, but you don't have a key. Check it out. You can't give everybody a key. Because when they give them the key, you think you somebody. You got to be careful. Now, the Lord said, I'm giving you, sister, the key, right? Now, what you got the key for? Key of the kingdom of heaven. You know, that's some power. You can't be giving everybody, you can't give everybody can't get the key. Because you might start doing too much stuff with the key. He said, now, if I give you the key, you got to be responsible. Hello? I had some people, I gave them the key to the door and they lost it. I put a heavy price on it when they came to get another key. It wasn't free. I gave it to them free, but the second time around, you got to pay a lot of money. Why? You're not going to lose it if it's a lot of money on it. It said, now, whatsoever thou shalt, look what the authority, when you got the key, you got some authority. But Minister, Pastor White, come on up for a minute. Now, this is what I want you to do. Now, can I have the key to your house? You know what I'm saying? He's going to say no, because if he got the key, he's giving me the authority to come in there. Yeah. That's correct. You follow what I'm saying? You don't go around, when you got the key that God has given you the key, you can be seated. When God gives you the key, you got some authority. Now look at the authority that you have. We just about to close. Look at the authority that you have. And whatsoever thou shalt do what? Now, you see what you have in the keys? What I have authority. I have bound and privileges. I can bind now. Hello? At the church, don't just give me the key, give me the alarm code. I want all of the benefits. You give me the key, I come in the door, and the alarm go off, the police will come, I'm going to be out there saying, I got the key. No, sir, do you have the cool? Whatsoever thou shalt bind in heaven, and whatsoever thou, look what you have. You got binding authority, then you got loosing authority. You can't get that. You can't. That's loaded. That's loaded. I can bind, then I can loose. That's a whole lot. You can lose it. I used to have my pastor used to say, loose here. I said, what are you saying, loose? I don't see nothing going. I don't see nothing happening. But guess what? As an individual, as a leader, as a Christian, he give you authority to bind. I bind it now. And I used to hear him say, you ever heard him? I bind it in the name of Jesus. So I don't see nobody with no rope. I don't see nothing happening. But it was happening. I bind it. Then they come back and say, loose here. And you see people start loosening up. And he's saying, whatever I do down here, it made a connection in heaven. Isn't that amazing? That was before cell phones, before the satellite. We had a connection to heaven before they came out with the satellite. We thought folk, I was doing it when they was going on the moon and making a connection. Now we've been making a connection before then. Because why? Because whatever I loose down here is loosed in heaven. Wow. Under the old covenant, Satan had authority. And he was making life miserable. But when Jesus came, he came and gave us that authority on what we can do. Now you can go around and start binding on your situation and say, guess what? I got binding authority. Do y'all know what binding means? When you go get an insurance on your car, you call the insurance company, and the insurance company sends a binder to the car dealer and let them know it's covered. Do you have the policy in your hand? No. But that binder is letting them know that it's covered. Y'all follow me? They say, Miss Jones, we have we put a binder on your car, just going to hold it to your card, and the policy come, it's already gone and covered, so you can go on and drive it off. You follow me? So what happens is that when you are praying for someone, by faith, this is where the faith comes in at. By faith, when I pray for that sister and they are sick, I'm binding that situation right now, and you're healed right now. Well, I don't feel it. It's bound. I want to let you know you're covered, you're healed. Now, if a person that needs to be free, I'm using the authority. I got the authority now that's vested in me. And I'm going to loose it in the name of Jesus, and it's going to be loosed in heaven. That means all this change, all of the shackles, you are free. Now, I know y'all might not want to tell me this. Have any of y'all ever been to jail? And then they say you are free. The judge say you free. And haven't been, then the other folk on the other side still mad. Now you did all of this, you did this and that. Baby, the judge say I'm free. Don't care what you say. No matter what y'all are saying, I am a what? If it don't fit, you must have quit. they freed him. Folk was talking, but he went out a free man. And I want to say that in my closing, no matter what you have done, what you've been through, but if God free you, you might have been a robber, you might have been a drunkard, you might have had a bad record, but guess what? He's saying that you are free. And guess what? You don't have no charges. Folk gonna point at you, so I remember her on the street. It doesn't matter what they say. Say, I am free. Guess what? Folk always want to bring up your past. Folk always want to say, oh yeah, I remember Sister Mara down there in Beaumont. I remember her. We're at the club, but guess what? I am free. When God sets you free, you are free indeed. Don't worry about what folks saying you used to be. Don't worry about folk trying to bring up your past. And I hate that about the saints. The saints, what they'll do, the Lord freed you. He done thrown it in the sea of forgiveness. The saints go down to academy, buy a brand new rod and reel, and go to the sea of forgiveness and try to pull out all of your past and try to say everything all about you. But I'm here to tell you that when God put it in the sea of forgiveness, you are free. I guarantee to tell you, I love it. God would take somebody that been on a crooked road and make them straight. You look around, and nobody been in here that is total angels. You all got a past. We all got some kind of past. You go and search up the history, you're going to say, oh, that little Ursula, I didn't know she was all of that. Some of y'all was what you call it, a cussing machine. Ooh, y'all were cuss, drink. Now, y'all wasn't drinking this stuff here. Y'all were drinking that Thunderbird. Y'all look like some of these Thunderbird folk in here. That Musketeer, that hard stuff. Oh, yeah, y'all was getting it. Yeah, it was in that green bottle. I know what color bottle it was in. But you can look back and say, look where the Lord brought me from. Isn't that good? Look where he brought me from. We all look like angels today, but we all got a past. But the Lord kept me, and the Lord saved me. I've been washed in the blood, and it's whiter than snow. I've been washed. I've been clean. I'm here to tell you, he can wash you. He can clean you. And guess what? Regardless of what you've been through, he'll make you brand new. Everybody, all of us, no, there ain't no clean section. All of us been through something. It ain't no clean section. You ain't been saved all your life. Now you ain't been saved all your life. And guess what? And we as saints, that's why we have to crucify ourselves when? Oh, once a month? Huh? Daily. Because you sometimes might slip and fall, so you got to come back and crucify yourself. I want everyone to stand. We're going to take a moment as we're here. Faith has no limit. I don't know what you're facing and what you're going through, but I want you to take this moment. It might be repentance, it might need healing in your body, battling with a situation. I want to believe God with you. And as your heads are bowed, dear God, Lord, we just thank you. We just praise you for this man, this woman. Dear God, I ask you to meet every need that they have in their lives. And we thanking you in advance of what you going to do. Dear God, we know you're going to fix that situation. And we thanking you right now. And we praising you for your anointing and power. That person that is sinner, God, forgive them right now. They confessing their sins. We'll give you the name and praise in Jesus' name. We thank you. Just lift your hands up to the Lord and say, Lord, I know you're going to do it for me. Say it again. Say, Lord, I know you're going to do it for me. Amen.